Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg live from the Fitchburg Senior Center. Joining me this morning is Sarah Folkers from the Fitchburg Senior Center, social worker. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am just wonderful.
Good.
Just wonderful.
It's Friday.
It's been so much fun to be down here and hang out with you guys. We really appreciate it.
It's been fun to have you guys down here. It gives a little bit of more life to the Senior Center in the morning.
Well, I can't. How busy it is pretty impressive. So, it reminds me of like being at school. Like everybody comes in, they walk around, and then they have to get to their one of the activities or this or that. So, pretty impressive. You guys got a tight ship down here.
We do. It's pretty cool when you see people just come in the morning and have a cup of coffee, read the paper, bring a book, bring their iPad, whatever.
I want to start my day off like that down here.
You should.
I think I need to do that.
You should.
Very nice. Everybody's been very nice down here, so we have that.
Good.
So what we're talking about today is you're giving us a heads up on the National Healthcare Decisions Day.
Yes,
So
I am.
tell us a little about that. That's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. So it's April 16th. I believe it's always on April 16th every year, National Healthcare Decisions Day. And the main goal is to educate and empower the public and providers about the importance of advanced care planning. Probably the most common advance directive that people might have heard of is a healthcare power of attorney, but there are other tools that you can use. So it's just to encourage people to express their wishes as far as healthcare and end of life, so that medical providers and different facilities know what those are and they can respect those wishes, whatever they may be. And the theme for this year is "It always seems too early until it's too late."
Ooh, I like that.
So you might think, I'm not 40 yet. You think, I'm too young. I don't need to do that. But you never know. You just never know what's going to happen, whatever age you are. So it is never too early. You're never too young, really, to have your own healthcare power of attorney.
You just don't know what's going to happen. I know I lost my mom suddenly a couple years ago, and she wasn't 50 yet either. And we had to, there's a lot of stuff that goes into and we're still dealing with it now, and we're almost up to 2 years now, and still closing things up and whatnot. So what are some of the things that people could do, maybe when we're talking about pre-planning and making decisions?
Yeah, so basically what it is it's a process. It's not just to sit down and fill out a form and then you're done with it. It's a process of understanding and reflecting and discussing future medical decisions, and that includes end-of-life preferences. And it's important because, for many reasons, but mostly because if you don't make your wishes known, in your situation too, your medical providers, your family may have no idea what you want, and then they're left wondering if they're making the right choice. And that's really hard, especially. It's even harder, obviously, when your loved one is going through a medical crisis, and you're going through the death of a loved one. It just makes the whole process even more difficult. And then you may end up getting treatment that you might not have wanted because you didn't make your wishes known. So I have a few statistics, which I don't have memorized, so I'm going to be looking at my paper.
Hey, I have my computer, which I'm always looking at and trying to get information, so you've got that.
So I will just go through these kind of quickly. So 60% of people say that making sure their family is not burdened by tough decisions is extremely important. But only 56% of those, 56% of those have not communicated their end-of-life wishes. 70% of people say they prefer to die at home. Makes sense. But 70% overall die in a hospital, a nursing home, or a long-term care facility. 80% of people say that if they were seriously ill, they'd want to talk to their doctor about end-of-life care, but only 7% report having actually had a conversation with their doctor. So you think that doctors would talk about this, on a regular basis with their patients, and they don't, because it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but it's one that's very important. More than 80% of people say it's important to put their wishes in writing, but only 23% have actually done it.
And what would you say to try to get the conversation going with the family and getting everybody to sit down and I know that's a loaded question, but I mean,
Yeah.
what can you do and even if you're trying to talk to your parents and say, you're getting up there, I'm not saying that to be mean, but you're getting up there and we don't have any plans. We don't know what you want. So what do you recommend to get that conversation?
I think you just say just that, sit down with your parents or your spouse or your aunt or your uncle, whoever it is, and just say, this is really important. I want to know what you want so that, when you are at the end of your life, we know, to make the right decisions. And, you may not be the one that your parent would choose for their healthcare agent. That's part of the process, is choosing somebody that you trust, choosing somebody that will be able to make a hard decision in kind of a crisis. So, it may be a friend, it may be a neighbor, it may be a family member. But it is good, no matter who that healthcare agent is that you choose, that you talk with them, but also your family, so that person has support in making that decision. It's always important for everybody to be on the same page, because a health crisis can really bring out sometimes the worst in people, and you want to be on the same page so everybody knows what they need to do. So I think it's really, you want to think about, maybe in your situation, you would think back to when your mom was sick and what you like, what went well and what didn't go well. And that can kind of shape what you would want for your end of life.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to think about that sometimes when you're not sick yourself. But you kind of just have to think about, well, what if I was in that situation? Who would I want to make those decisions? What would I want to happen? What would I not want to happen? And it can get very detailed and very complicated, but just in general, it's good to have kind of that idea in your mind.
And you don't want to be making these types of decisions on the fly. I think that's the most important thing. When you're in, if somebody's in critical condition or in something, and you're you got the emotions, you got everything moving. So it can be very tough.
Yes, it can be. But unfortunately, we already had our presentation on Wednesday of this week, but we had a representative from Honoring Choices Wisconsin, and they are the organization that kind of is the statewide initiative for not only National Healthcare Decisions Day, but also helping people start the conversation. They've given a couple presentations here about, kind of some similar to what I'm talking about today, but in more depth, and they can, have private meetings with you and, talk about how you start that process. So you can go to their website, which I think is... Well, just Google.
You never find it when you need it.
I know. I'm not even going to try to shuffle through my papers.
There's so many resources out there, certainly.
There are, yeah.
And if anybody has any questions, they can come talk to you or
Absolutely.
Amy anytime.
Absolutely. And Amy and I are available to do basic healthcare power of attorneys with people, and we do that for free. Anything more in-depth, detailed, would be best suited with an attorney. But that's something that we provide as a service to the community. You need 2 witnesses that are not related to you, and that obviously you're not naming as your agent. And so Amy and I can act as those witnesses and fill out that document, and then you make copies and distribute them to who needs them. That's the music.
That's the
Is it done already?
You've made it. You've done it.
I didn't even go through half my
Do we need to bring you back for a whole
No,
show? Is that
no,
what we're getting at?
No, I'm good. I hope I don't ever have to testify at trial or anything, because I might puke.
Me too. All right, Sarah, thank you so much for the great information. Again, if you want to talk to Sarah, Amy, come on down. They're here.
We're
at
here.
Fitchburg Senior Center. Really very nice people.
We're super.
You're super.
I think Amy might have said that in her interview too.
Yeah,
super social workers.
Yeah, she pushes the bar there. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Coming up next, we're gonna go back to last night's Chamber Business Expo and tell you a little bit more about that event. Stay tuned. It's Talking Fitchburg.